Today on Mission RV Services, our customer complaint is my RV AC will not stop running. So the customer said their AC pretty much runs constantly. Sometimes it cools fine, sometimes it doesn't, but they're also getting some leaking coming in through the ceiling. And this is a special camper, so we're going to be doing some work for a campground locally, and the trailer that this AC is on is like a bathroom shower trailer. So kind of an interesting setup, but in the end the AC is the same as your RV AC on your own roof. If you have a Dometic Brisk 2, that is, but all in all it's pretty much the same as a regular RV AC. But we are going to dig into this, and we're going to go up with the intent of cleaning it because we found out it hasn't been cleaned in a couple of years. But we're also going to check it out, make sure there's no other issues. So what we're checking here is just looking, see if we have blocks in our condensation tubes after we take the cover off. And we have all kinds of dirtiness going on here, a lot of dogwood up in this. We're gonna pop our cover off here. Just see there's a lot of water in. So sometimes these are a little hard to get off, just gotta be a little careful with them. Make sure you get the styrofoam up evenly. Now we can dump it. So this is all ice right here. So let's get a picture of that for the customer. So one thing I'm not seeing connected is our freeze sensor. So our freeze sensor looks to be right here. So the freeze sensor wasn't even installed. So we're gonna get this ice out of here. Next thing we're gonna do is we've already turned the power off to the unit, but I also like to unplug them just in case somebody decides they want to try to plug it in for us. Be helpful. And then we have all kinds of ice over here as well. So we're gonna try to get this out of here. Be a little more difficult. Take a picture of that too. Now, why am I taking pictures? Well, for one thing, because we're doing a video on it for sure, but the customer's not necessarily going to see the video, and we want to be able to show them what's going on with their unit and why it's not working as efficiently as it could. And this is why, because we have ice in it. And the good thing is the coil's dirty, but it's not horrible, which is good. But this is why we're getting a lot of water down in the unit, which is one of the reports from the customers. They're getting a lot of excess water. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to brush as much of this out as we can before we spray it. So we're going to grab some stuff out of the old bag, and we're just going to keep on going. Got a couple new cans of cleaner. Now, on some of these jobs you might need some HVAC tape. On this particular one we don't. Looks like we got some stink bug carcasses down in there. We're going to brush all that out. Plus we want to try to straighten the fins out as much as we can on this. But as we're straightening the fins, we're also cleaning them. And these are very wet, and it is from that icing. So you'll see here too, we got a lot of cottonwood dirt, cottonwood, debris all over the coils here. Just want to get all of that off. So we'll just keep on cleaning here, and so before we spray these coils, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this blue paper towel or any color paper towel you want to use, and we're just going to plug up the hole here. And what we're doing this for is just to keep our spray, when we put it on the coils, from going down into the hole, just trying to contain our foam as much as possible. Some of these little harder to straighten out coils will slightly rub this up there. Now all you got to do is we're going to spray this whole side, and this will work its way through the coil. You can probably see a little bit of overspray that's gone through the coil, and that's fine. So what we're using completely evaporates as it cleans, so there's no water needed up here. Be very liberal with this. You want to really get it in there. And we'll take here and we'll just wipe some of that excess off. It's also a good time when you're cleaning to have if you're doing this yourself, if it's something you'd feel comfortable with, or if you're having a technician do it, then this is a good time for them to go ahead and maybe get some part numbers for you if you need any, if you don't have the serial number of your unit, just for your own data. If it didn't come with your in your owner's packet, if this was an RV and not a trailer. It's also a good time we're going to check and make sure we don't have any loose mounts. Our fan seems in good shape. So again, trying to get as much of this gunk out of here as possible. I'm not going to be able to get it all out all the time, but we should be able to get most of it out. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to spray some more on here. Now, what we're going to do next is we'll look at it from the other side, but we are going to check our wiring under our cap just to make sure that it is in good shape. You'll also see these fins on the back of this coil are pretty dinged up and dirty. And looking over on the back of this, since we can hit that side with some coil cleaner, we're going to. Grab our brush, see if we can get some more of this cleaned out. So we want to make sure all our condensation traps are clear, which are down in there. There's still a little bit of ice down in there. we'll use some long needle nose to get in there and make sure those traps are cleared out. Good thing is that it does look clear. I can see down to the bottom. So we're going to keep cleaning and getting all the gunk out. So I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but you can see not just how the fins are damaged, but the amount of dirt and dust and debris that's coming out. And I kind of squirreled here because I told you I was coming over to show you the wiring, and I started cleaning coils. So let's go ahead and let's look at our wiring. Again, 9-in-1 screwdriver. This is a south wire found on the old Jungle website. But you have this. Again, you want to make sure the power's off. But now what we're looking for in here, do we have any burnt wires? Do any of our connectors look bad? Are they all in place like they're supposed to be? Is our PTR in good shape? You know, do we see any issues with that? Is everything clean? But looks like everything here is in good shape. We'll reinstall our cap, put our nylon washer back on. Tighten that down. All right, we're doing pretty good here. So far so good. Everything is in good shape and condition. We're just going to keep on cleaning here. So our biggest concern was the water coming into the camper, and there was another side issue on this, is that the unit wasn't shutting off very well. So if the freeze sensor wasn't on and the coils are freezing up, it's going to keep running. It's never going to achieve that it's never going to achieve the cooling satisfaction. That coil up there is going to completely freeze over. And so how that air works, that air comes up through the front, it's drawn in through the front there, passes through here. As this coil gets cold, then the air gets caught into here, this rotates and then pushes the air down into the vents. So if that is freezing up as it gets cold, this is just going to keep turning. This air conditioner is never going to shut off. It's never going to cool. And as you saw when we came in, both sides were completely iced up. And that's all because this freeze sensor was never installed. You can tell it wasn't installed, just has no marks on it from being pushed into the coils. It's just been sitting in that trap. So this is a newer camper, even though the top is kind of dirty, but again, it's under trees. So that's why we see that. So this is 1 AC, but this one is so dirty, we're going to use 2 cans on this. So as you can see, this can's almost empty. And we'll finish up the job with another can. All right, so now we're going to go back to the front. Sprayed our back coil. We're going to spray that again for a second cleaning just to really get this cleaned up. But what we're going to do over here is we're going to go back in. We'll pull our paper towel out. We are going to go ahead and we're going to well, I would say reinstall the freeze sensor, but it's never been installed, so It won't be a reinstall at all. So a good way to gauge this, very scientific method we use a lot is, so basically we're going to go a fist over, so which is maybe about the equivalent of 3 inches. So from here up to here, and then we want to go about a fist up. So our position is we're going to slide this freeze sensor in right between the coils and then just lightly push it in. And this is exactly what you think it would be. So as that coil freezes up, because they will freeze up because they're cold, so cold, once it hits here, it'll say, hey, we're freezing up. It'll send a signal to the connector box down here, and then the compressor will turn off. And then once that backs off, the compressor comes back on again. So the fan keeps going to move the air and keep the coils clean, or keep them free of ice, but it never gets over. So with that not being in there, this whole thing just freezes across and it makes that ice like we saw. So now our freeze sensor's in. That should keep this AC running efficiently. We're going to plug this back in now and get that seated. So now as the air gets pulled into here, now we'll be in good shape and we'll have good circulation and flow. And now we'll double check our styrofoam here, make sure that's cleaned out of any yuckiness. Now I can see here where we've had a little bit of fan rubbing on our styrofoam, so that is something we'll keep an eye on for the customer. Fan is in good position, so, but we have had a little bit of rubbing at some time, and it does look like our setup is in a good spot. So it's just something we're going to want to keep an eye on and make sure that there's no issues moving forward. And then this will seat back on here. Make sure it's secured. And now we're ready to go to the other side. We're going to spray our back coils one more time, and actually we're gonna see if we can get in here at the coils, grab our can again, see if we can spray in a little bit, as much as possible inside this way. It's much harder to get through that fan, as you can tell. But much harder to get. So this Dometic is one of the easier ACs to clean, these Brisk 2s. They're relatively, you know, you have just a styrofoam top that pulls off, no screws or bolts around it. Coils are very accessible. Covers only use 4 screws to hold them on. Get our last screw tightened up and we're done. Drop the screwdriver. And until the next time, this has been Drew with Mission RV Services, and let's go clean another AC.